What's happening, everybody? Alex with you here again as usual. Thanks for dropping by for yet another chess video. A company that is unknown to me is going to be Femuey. A Femuey unique electronic smart chessboard submodel L6 is what we're going to be looking at today. I stumbled upon this particular product from one of those like best of 2025 websites, which actually had quite a few chessboards that I was already familiar with or I have already reviewed. I think this happened to be one of the boards that was actually recommended. I think it was in the top 5. It's like I said before, it's not a company that I'm familiar with. Femuey, international brand certification. On the back, there's not a whole lot written. I don't know if this company is just starting out or if it's been around for a while. It looks like, based on this little description here, I had the option of choosing 3 different colors, pink, blue, and black, and I guess I went with the black one. One of the things that I particularly found appealing in this particular product, based on the description at least, is the fact that it did have a little side LCD screen, which we hopefully will find once we unwrap this board. I have not yet unwrapped this product because I've wanted to share in the experience of opening it up with you guys for the first time. We're going to be taking a look at this without any more time to waste. There's people out there that will find those same websites that will be likely to question whether this board is worth their time or money, and so I went ahead and bought it for those people. So product wise, here we go. We got the top of the box and this little thin piece of foam here covering. Here, this is what all comes in. We've got the dark pieces, the light pieces, and we've got a little charging cord here. We've got the actual chessboard with what does look like a little screen. So we'll be taking a closer look at that, and if we just kind of take a look and turn the board slightly, I do believe there are little LED lights in those squares, so we'll take a look and see how that functions and what all we can get out of this board. We have the USB-A to USB-C cord, old school here, and then we have the actual chess pieces, which do come in 2 different compartments. All right, so yeah, got little tiny plasticky, kind of a dark plastic see-through almost, a little bit, with what looks to me upon initial inspection to be some kind of a little magnet on the bottom. So we don't have individual chess piece recognition as we have seen with Chestnut, for example. But I do believe that it will probably recognize whether or not you moved the piece. And as far as the light pieces, they are more kind of a see-through color. This looks more like glass, but it's actually plastic. Pieces are not particularly big. This kind of reminds me size-wise of probably the Millennium Genius Pro, somewhere in that range. Once again, with little tiny magnets here on the bottom that will cue the board to whether or not you've moved the piece. Let's go ahead and open the board up. The board itself here is not super heavy. I probably would say it's relatively light, honestly, compared to some of the other boards I've seen. On the back side, we've got little tiny rubber legs here that kind of help it to stay stable. These little things that you see are really, I don't think they're anything except just for like aesthetics on both sides here. Femuey chess computer, model L6, output type C, and then capacity of the battery is 1600 milliamperes. So not terrible. Then what I believe here on the side, we do have a little compartment that slides out that is separated by 2 sides. That is kind of nice because I'm always harping on the fact that some of these electronic chessboards just don't have a spot for the pieces. We have seen this particular thing with like the Millennium Karpov Teaches Chess, I think, had a similar little thing where you could put your pieces in there and store them. So that is nice. I think it doesn't come out all the way. It kind of stops there. So that way you can just throw the pieces in there and you know where they are. You're not going to be losing them. We do have this little tiny screen. Based on initial impression, it looks to me like an e-ink screen, maybe. We'll take a closer look once we turn this on. But it does says, welcome back to Femuey Chess again. Welcome back. I don't know, this is the first welcome for me, but welcome back. Okay, got a little smiley face with a wink. Femuey L6. On the bottom here, it looks like we've got some navigation buttons here, little rubbery buttons here, up, down. And then over here on the bottom, I think these buttons, let's see, do they click? Well, they don't click, but we got this, I thought these were buttons, but they're not, I guess. And then the help and the power off on button. So let's go ahead and turn on the power button here.
Welcome to Femuey Chat.
Ooh, how nice, look at that. Got a little F for Femuey. Femuey, welcome. Let's play. Press play for game.
Please take back that white pawn.
Take back that white pawn. Okay, so if you guys can see, there's different colors actually, which is nice to see, so that we will have hopefully some experimenting to do with. If the colors are different, then there's probably some suggestive moves that can be anticipated. Maybe something along the lines of, what have we seen before? Like the chess up, for example, had suggestive moves. Is something we've seen first. Let me go ahead and set up these pieces and see how this goes, see how this plays.
Take back that white pawn.
Wait!
Please take back that. Please take back that.
All right. I got you.
Please take that. Please take that. White move.
All right. So now that we've got everything set up, hopefully if I kind of put this up closer to the screen, we can see the details as far as the actual chess pieces. This is the light side. So I'm not gonna. One of the things is those little magnets on the bottom serve, I believe, both as sensors and also as magnets. I'm actually holding this at a pretty steep angle just to show you guys, and it doesn't look like the pieces are moving anywhere, so that's great in situations where you're traveling or you just want extra stability. And that's always a nice thing with small pieces, because when you have tiny pieces like this and small squares, sometimes having that extra grip on the board can be very helpful. And these here are the dark pieces. One of the things you'll notice is there's not a whole lot of detail as far as the actual chess pieces. I mean, you can tell the difference between a rook here and a knight. But as we get closer towards the center, the bishop and the queen, things kind of start to look more similar, I guess. Probably because the bishop here looks closer in height to the queen. And then you have the king, bishop again, knight, rook. Pawns aren't incredibly huge. They're not too big actually, but it looks to me like the base of those pawns here, I'll kind of flip it to the side. There's the pawns. Not terribly big, but I think it's doable. Honestly, I think it's okay. You do get the 4 queens, so 2 extra queens in case you're going to be promoting, which is great to see. The screen. Let's jump to see what the screen looks like. The screen does look like an e-ink screen. So I wonder if it has a light up feature. But let's take a look. I did start a new game, so we'll just try to play it. So we're gonna go ahead.
Pawn E7, E5.
All right.
White move.
So the nice thing is, just like we've seen with the chess up initially, like the first chess up, when you raise the piece here, you immediately get suggestive moves as far as where this knight can be placed. What available moves we've got if we pick up the queen. Nothing here, but that's nice to see. And then also, you guys see that right over there, there's a little red square. So probably, once again, suggestive moves. Not only possible moves, but moves that you should probably avoid making, such as that A6 square. That is nice to see as well. So you do have some hints. And we've seen that, like I said, originally with when I did the review of the chess-up board.
Pawn D.
I wonder what difficulty level we're playing.
Knight G8. White move. Knight F6 E4. White move. Pawn D6 E. White move. King E8 D8. Do not move more than one piece at the same. Please take that. Please take. Please. White move. 7.
All right, pawn F7.
White move.
Okay.
King D. White move. Knight B8. White move. Knight E4 F.
I think the
White
difficulty level here is not very strong.
Bishop C8. White move. Bishop D7 C. White move. White win.
All right, white win. So now that we got through the game, I guess the difficulty level didn't seem like it was a whole very difficult. The engine was making a lot of blunders. Let's go into the settings of this board and see what kind of options we can change to make the game a little bit more challenging. One of the things that I found that tends to be a little bit finicky with some of these chess boards, regardless of what brand, is the charging. The charging, sometimes you have to pick the right charging block, you know. And one of these things is like, I have this Amazon Basics, I guess, little charging block with 2 USB-Cs. I brought a USB-C to USB-C cord and plugged all this in, and it wasn't charging. So then I had to go around looking for a USB-A charging block, kind of like this little guy. I don't even know where I got this, but I mean, to be honest with you, an USB-A to USB-C cable is something that's becoming less frequently encountered. And if you're going to provide a USB-A to USB-C cable, it almost makes sense for you to go ahead and provide some kind of a small charging block, because I'm going to be honest, I had to look around. I have a lot of these USB-C blocks everywhere laying around, but I don't really have any USB-A blocks left, but that's just me venting. So go ahead and we'll take a look. I'm going to reset the pieces real quick. It kind of has a little area in the middle of the square, because if you put it like in the middle, it still stays there, but it's when you kind of put it right in the square, it sort of stays there. So there must be a greater... Okay, I got you. So there must be a greater magnetic pull right there, right in the middle. Well, we did reset all the pieces, but for some reason it says here, welcome back, and it kind of got stuck. I don't know if I'm pressing all these buttons and it's not really doing anything. Now I did plug in the USB-C cord here, as you can see, and the little LED light looks like it did lit up. So let's quickly run through the menu. Here we have mode. If we click on mode, we have 3 different kinds: the training, match, and human. Training mode consists of a total of 20 different levels, and it does allow for us to be able to see LEDs and all kinds of different things. Here in the instruction here, it says match mode completely simulates a real game battle scene, which is set up with real game functions such as chess timing and violation judgment. No matter at home or others, you can truly experience the tension and excitement of the game. The level setting is the same as the training mode. By default, match modes does not support turning on the chessboard light, nor does it support turning on the prompt. The sound is turned off by default. Basically, training and match is going to be a little bit less help. And then human is when you're playing against somebody in the same room. Time interval, if you want to set up a timing. 0 minutes, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20, 30, 45, 60, 90. So those are our options as far as time. Levels, I believe we have 20 different levels altogether. 22 here, from 1 to 22. Review, This was the first game that we just played here a second ago. And I guess we can go ahead and review this game. So you have the option of going through the game. It's not the best of the ways that I have seen going through the game, but I guess it is a possibility for you to go through the game in this particular way. We do have a puzzle index, so we have different puzzles. Setup, individual pieces you can set up for game analysis. The only problem is because there's no individual piece recognition, you have to set which piece it's going to be. So let's say we're gonna want the pawn, and then color, settings. So you can choose what the robot will be, whether it's gonna be light or black. Brightness, sound, volume, languages, or just English, I guess. Yeah, there's no other languages here. And then about Femuey version 1.92, product Femuey AI chess. A couple of little details that I wanted to share based on this little pamphlet here. Charging, full charging is 4 to 6 hours. Interestingly, that I guess they translate this little manual, and sometimes with some of these products, it's funny to read through. It says here, please do not disassemble our Femuey smart chessboard and its accessories by yourself. It may bring you danger. Danger, oh my goodness. So yeah, it's funny to read some of this stuff, but this little quick pamphlet just kind of gets you started and shows you that there is a reset button on the bottom in case your board does kind of, for some reason, glitch. I do strongly believe that the reason why my board glitched on me was probably because it was just completely out of battery. And I don't necessarily think that, yeah, because it shows me the little screen with a little wink. And that's usually a screen which comes up when you're completely like out of juice. This is not a type of chessboard I think that you can link to online and play on chess.com or anything. But I guess this wasn't a board that I was expecting to do that. It sort of reminds me of a sort of a miniature version of the GGT Centaur. I guess the Centaur had a little bit of a bigger screen, and as far as going through the options on the Centaur, I felt like it was easier. But I don't think the Centaur had the magnetic pieces. Here we can literally, I believe, we can turn them upside down here. So that's nifty. There's strong magnetic pull. No, I mean, even if I do this, there's no pieces that are sliding or anything. But at the same time, it's not so strong that you can't, you can't pick them off and put them off. See, seems to be working just fine. One thing about magnetic pieces, especially when it's like non-individual piece recognition, like with the chestnut, I've never had issues with, like if you're moving pieces too fast, it never gets confused because the outcome of your position, no matter how many pieces you grab at the same time, you might be moving, 3-4 pieces. You can see the chain of variation that you're trying to achieve. And it's the final product that the board will recognize. Okay, he did this and that. And so I never had a chestnut board, for example, stop me and say, can you not move your pieces so fast? With this board, you do have to be a little bit more cognizant of that. You have to be kind of like, okay, make sure you put the piece down before you move your own piece, which is not a big deal, but it is an option. It's something worth mentioning. For anybody that's interested, there is a total of 22 levels here. Level 1 is a fun level. So as we've seen me play through level 1, I guess by default it's set to level 1. A fun level will probably be a lot of blunders to where the pieces, they are giving you away the pieces and you're just having a good time. Probably something my kids can play without a problem. Level 2 is also a fun level. Okay. Level 3 will be from 100 to 200 ELO, or more correctly from 100 to 199. Subsequently, level 4 will be from 2 to 300, 5 is from 3 to 400, 6 would be from 4 to 500, and so on and so on. Let's see, level 10 is from 800 to 900, level 14 is from 1200 to 1300, and finally, looks to me like level 22, which is the very top level, is from 2100 to 2300. So that there encompasses a little bit more. but I'm gonna kind of show you guys this little mark if you guys can see it, so that way you'll know that there are different levels. Let's do a level 14 to just see how this can work at 14 and see whether, because 14 would be a solid level for a lot of players out there. I just want to see how it behaves at level 14, because past about 1200 or so, you can start to see the AI will start to kind of have other moves, not something more or less predictable. Let's just dive in, and so let's try it. Okay, now the game looks a little bit different. Not terribly so. See, like, okay, good. Okay, my turn. No, something's not right. This is reminiscent of playing the square-off boards. Interesting piece of information. I was playing with a match against the computer here, and I've had 6 minutes left or somewhere thereabouts, and the computer had like 9 minutes and 50 seconds. And then suddenly I made a move, and the computer just sat there thinking all the way up until it had 1 second left. After that, it decided to make a move. It had 1 second on the thing, and then subsequently made like 30 more moves on the last second, because I guess the computer doesn't need time to pick up a piece. It just, you know, which makes the whole timing thing kind of a little bit unfair, in my opinion. I mean, the computer should have lost on time. You can't just, you have to basically say that, okay, well, for a normal type of scenario, if the piece is moved, we have to at least take 1 second off the clock. But in this case, it was like, no, well, the computer continues moving. It has plenty of time. It has 1 second. It'll finish the game from start to finish. So another thing is, why did it glitch? It was just kind of in the middle of the game. It wasn't really a hard position. And then it's sort of like it was thinking. And this is kind of something I've seen before. I've seen that in the Millennium chessboards. They're small ones. I've seen it in the Millennium Karpov. I've seen it in the Millennium Europe Championship chess set, which was kind of like the Karpov teaches chess. And then I've seen it in the Chess Genius Pro too. I've seen situations where you get halfway through the game and all of a sudden the computer takes like a really long time to think. And sometimes it'll think for, well, in this case, it was thinking enough for me to, I actually ran out of space on my SD card. So I went upstairs, I copied some of the files onto my computer, I brewed myself some coffee here, I used the restroom, and I came back and it was still going. So, and then it was a little unfair because I thought I was going to win by time, and it was trying to beat me within the last second. It's just like, okay. So anyways, that's my little rant. Who is this board for? I would probably say it's going to be a board for anybody that's probably looking for a chess set gift idea, like an electronic chess set that won't take too much time to get into, that doesn't really have a large learning curve, that will allow you to just go ahead and play right there, right then. You don't need to have a Lichess account. You don't need to have a chess.com account, which would probably be more or less ideal for children or people that just want to kind of have a simple approach to chess. We've seen this before with some of the other chess boards. We've seen it work, and then we've seen it kind of not work as well. We've seen it work with the DGT Centaur. I've had that board for a little while, and I thought that the engine inside, which I believe it was Stockfish 13-ish maybe, I'm not sure, don't quote me on that, but it was functioning pretty well. We've seen it in the Millennium, we've seen it in some of the, we've seen chess computer being used in the Millennium King performance chess set, which I thought at the time was a pretty nice chess engine. But sometimes chess engines can be a little cut and dry. If you've played enough chess engines, sometimes the openings or the moves that they perform are very similar. And if you play through a game a number of times and you do the same moves, you'll realize that there's not a lot of deviation between the opponent's responses. So you will move your e2 to e4, and at a certain level, you will probably always expect the robot to respond in a very, very similar way. Part of what makes chess fun when we play online or against other people is that there's variability, and the blunders and the mistakes and the inaccuracies is what makes the game interesting, because not any one game is going to be the same as any other game, and the way that you see the game, the way that you respond to it is also going to be different. So this is kind of like my take on it, my opinion. Personally, I think that definitely for somebody that's wanting to get an easy way into chess, or they're looking for some kind of a chess set as a gift for somebody, like for a child, this may be a product that I might recommend, although the Femuey just doesn't sound like a brand that I'm familiar with. Once again, it might be a brand that's familiar in other countries. That's fine. I would probably stick to DGT Centaur if I wanted to get a board that would give me offline capability against the AI, just because it's kind of a more tried and true chessboard in my opinion. I could probably recommend maybe the Millennium Chess Genius Pro, maybe, even though I've seen similar kind of quirks on that board as well. But there you have it. Judge for yourself based on what you've seen. I think there's still a lot of great things about this. It's simple. The interface is not very difficult. There's not a whole lot, because we've seen in some other chess boards, when you get into settings, there's the menu is huge, and so then you have to go through and you get lost in what does what. Here it seems like we've gone through the menu pretty quickly, so I think that it's, in my opinion, kind of an easy board to get into. Also, big thing, just like the chess up we've seen it with the first board, the fact that you do get like a little bit of advice as far as hints, where can the piece be moved, where is not the recommended place for a piece, what, you know, that's always great, because I've seen that with the original chess up, and I thought this is a great option for somebody that's trying to learn, you know, why maybe a certain move is better than a certain other move. So that's great. The magnetic pull of the pieces, as we see, and a strong one at that, is also definitely a thumbs up for this board. The only thing that I'm not particularly sold on is the actual program be a little bit more polished, so no glitches. I don't like to, when I'm picking up pieces fast, I don't like when the board gets confused, and I've seen this repeatedly within the short period of time, so I know this is probably going to be an issue. You can't pick up pieces fast, and sometimes you get carried away thinking you're playing against another person, and then you just pick a piece, pick up another piece, and then just place everything down where it should be, especially during an exchange, and all of a sudden the board says, put the pieces back and do it properly, one piece at a time, and then you're like, okay, I forgot I'm playing an AI, I'm playing computers here. So that, I wish it would be more polished. I've seen that exchange done well with the chestnut, for example. I've seen it done well with iChess1 chessboard, the foldable chessboard from Poland. That had a really good exchange system where it didn't really blunder or anything like that, kind of made it more lifelike. The pieces themselves, you might have mentioned and seen that they might not be all that extravagant, but then again, with a small chess set like this, we're not going to be expecting some kind of elegant, you know, elegant royal chess pieces here. I think this is more than sufficient. All you really care about in this case is, can you differentiate between the light and dark pieces, which you can. Can you differentiate between the pieces themselves? Does the bishop look like a queen to the point where you cannot differentiate between the two, or are you okay? And I feel like in this case, especially once you kind of get used to this particular chess set, you'd be fine. So that's kind of my take on this particular product. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and if you did, please be sure to hit the thumbs up, comment, let me know what you guys think about this board, and I will put a link below to where I have personally purchased my board, so that way you guys can take a look. If you find a better deal somewhere, let me know. So, and until next time, play more chess, stay safe everybody, and I'll see you guys in the next video, okay? Bye-bye.